I'm frequently asked why acid reflux happens, and it's a very good question because so many people suffer with acid reflux, and the over-the-counter medications are very popular, as are the prescribed medications, which are called PPIs, proton pump inhibitors, and PPIs are one of the most popular drugs sold worldwide. So obviously a lot of people have this problem, and it's not innocuous. It's not that it's just uncomfortable. It means something, and long term it can create a lot of irritation to your heart, prevent you from digesting your food very well. There's a long list of ramifications that you should know about, but let's start with why. Why does it happen? So we'll start with some basic lifestyle things that you can just kind of check to see if you tend to do these or not. So one is just overeating. So you're eating very quickly, and if you're somebody who does eat very quickly, or you tend to, once you're done eating, you say, oh, why did I eat so much? You know, you have that feeling. That's definitely something that can cause acid reflux. Another thing is eating a big meal late at night, not giving your body a good 3 hours to digest before you go horizontal in bed. Another thing you can do that's not good is to eat and then immediately lift something very heavy. That's putting a lot of stress on the abdominal muscles and the diaphragm, and that can force acid into your esophagus. Let's see. Oh, smoking, it definitely increases your risk for acid reflux, and so does excess alcohol consumption. So those are some lifestyle things in addition to certain medications you just might be taking. So you can check with your doctor. You can just look online and see if one of the side effects of the medication you're on is acid reflux. And then if so, get with your doctor and see what you can do about getting to the actual root cause of the reason that you're on that medication, and maybe correct it at that deeper level so you don't need it anymore, or switch to a different medication. Because as I said, acid reflux is not without its long-term ramifications to your body. So that's kind of the easy stuff. Next is food sensitivity. So there are foods that you can eat regularly. Gluten, dairy are super common, corn, where you like the food. You know, you feel perfectly fine eating the food on one level, but you can get acid reflux from eating a food you're sensitive to. So that's something that you want to rule out, is whether you have a food sensitivity or not. And we certainly do find that a lot here at the clinic, and that makes a big difference. The other thing is if you already have a hiatal hernia. So we talk a lot about hiatal hernia on this channel, but if your stomach is already above your diaphragm, that means that the ability for the body to have these valves or sphincters that close things off, preventing reflux, those are not functional anymore because the stomach is elevated beyond them. So that's another reason. Let's see, stress, our favorite, stress. Stress aggravates everything. So any weakness you have, stress will unfortunately exacerbate it. So looking at factors affecting your stress, are you exercising? Are you hydrating? Are you prioritizing sleep? All of these things really help your stress response. So there is a gut-brain connection, and it's a very real thing. It's not just, oh, stress. Everybody talks about stress. It's absolutely proven that stress will aggravate acid reflux. A lot of other things as well, but that's our topic for today. So managing stress is very, very key. Then we have, last but not least, vagus nerve function. So your vagus nerve is your longest cranial nerve. It begins in the brain, it travels down the front of your neck, but it goes to your chest, your lungs, your heart, your esophagus, your stomach, your abdomen, and all of your digestive tract. So it's a very busy little nerve. But what happens is when you have a stomach that's overstretched and tends to get pushed up a bit, it will aggravate the vagus nerve, and you can get acid reflux because of that. You can also get just that feeling of irritation. It also can create a stress response, so there's a number of symptoms associated with vagus nerve inflammation or irritation, but definitely acid reflux is one of them, just due to irritating that nerve. Now, that nerve can be irritated because the digestive tract is not functioning optimally. It can also get irritated because your neck, the cervical vertebrae of your spine in your neck are not where they should be. So we have, if you're looking at yourself from the side, you should have this nice C-shaped curve. If your nose is that way, and this is the back of your head, it curves forward, just like your low back curves forward. It's the same curve in your neck and your low back. But a lot of people have a reversed cervical curve. So instead of this way, it's this way, or a loss of cervical curve. So instead of having that nice curve, it's straight. The typical sort of text neck, it's called, where the head is really leading the way instead of being nicely over your spine. And it's not just, this can aggravate a lot of different nerves, but it can really aggravate the vagus nerve, because the vagus passes right in front of the upper vertebrae in your neck. So when the upper vertebrae kind of slide forward due to the bad posture, it's actually putting compression on the vagus nerve, and it's very sensitive to that. A lot of people have this loss of their cervical curve. That can be aggravated if you've had a lot of whiplash injuries or you've had surgery to your neck, certainly. But doing exercises, trying to be mindful of where your monitor is, raising it up, so you have to look up versus this all the time. If you work on a laptop, what I do at home is I have my laptop up on a stand, and then I have a separate keyboard so that I'm not, hunched forward. So it makes a big difference. There's a lot of things you can do to restore vagus nerve function, which is great. And then there's one more point that I want to make on acid reflux, which is having infections. So there's a common bacterial infection called H. pylori. That's short for Helicobacter pylori. And this can cause gastritis. It can cause acid reflux. And over the long term, it can destroy your stomach's ability to make acid, which is its job. So that's very important to test for and to do the right test for. So if you're somebody who's had an endoscopy and they've checked the fluid in your stomach for H. pylori, they could have missed it. So there are better tests. That's what we do here, that also look at the genetics of the organism, and a little more sophisticated, but it's very important to know if you have this infection or not, because left untreated, long-term damage and can make you pretty miserable. And ultimately, what I want to say is, if you have any kind of acid reflux, if it's, Thanksgiving you had acid reflux, darn why, because you ate so much and then you lay on the couch because you couldn't move, okay, fine. But if you're somebody that tends toward this, you have it a few times a week. If it's something you have once a month, okay, not the end of the world. Maybe look at some of these lifestyle issues I just mentioned and see if any of these are something you tend to do, and be more mindful of that. But if it's something you tend toward, even if at the moment it's being handled by over-the-counter medication, realize these things don't resolve on their own. They just tend to dwindle and get worse, and you don't want to get on a PPI, because the side effects of these medications are intense. I talk a lot about it on this channel, so I'm not going to reiterate it here, but there's plenty of videos. You can just probably search PPI and find me talking about it. But the long-term ramifications of these drugs are quite dangerous, from, I can't help myself, from heart attack, stroke, stomach cancer, dementia, kidney disease, osteoporosis, and infection. So that's just the short list. So anyway, I hope you found this valuable, and maybe there's just some lifestyle changes you can make right now that will handle the situation and not aggravate it. But if that's not enough, then this just means there's more going on, but it's not hard to fix. So this is something that's very fixable without drugs, without surgery, and figuring it out is extremely important because your stomach is the first place food goes. You put it in your mouth, you chew, and it just goes down that tube called the esophagus. Nothing happens other than a transfer down the tube. Then it gets to your stomach, and in the stomach it gets turned around. Vitamins and minerals are absorbed, and it's the first place digestion starts. And if it doesn't go well there, then you're setting yourself up for maldigestion and malabsorption and infections all the way down your GI tract, which is not what you want. So hopefully this was good information. If you like the information, give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to the channel. We are trying to have more people subscribe so that more people can get this education. And we really appreciate you for subscribing, just for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.